Hi everyone. Some of the other resources you're going to find on the PE modules page, we have made several different PearDeck lessons for the softball and wiffle ball unit, and we're going to be creating more as the year goes on. But to get to those, you see these, and then here are a couple of different ones. This is a complete slide deck. This one is about, is this a force out or a tag out? Something that sometimes gives students a little bit of trouble. But PearDeck, if you're not familiar with it, is a simple add-on that goes on top of a Google slideshow. And when you install it and then open it up, you have all these different opportunities to add questions that can make this Google slideshow interactive. This is fantastic for health, but it can also be used in PE either as a flipped classroom assignment that students may need a week to complete, or they could be a station inside the gym where they have their Chromebooks and they complete the lesson here. So you've got different questions like a text-based response, multiple choice, number. It can link to different websites. You can draw and circle things on a picture, and then you can drag shapes to different parts of one of the images to indicate your response. So there's a lot of information here. I have other more detailed information about PearDeck that I can share with you, but I just wanted to share with you what we've created. So on the first slide after the title, students will drag a dot to whether or not they feel like they're a pro. It talks about some of the basic rules in baseball, wiffle ball, or softball, and just goes to the tag outs. So all you have to do to present this is to just make sure that you've done the PearDeck add-on. I already have it, but if you don't, just click Get Add-ons, and it's usually one of the first ones on the page. Just click it and install it, and then you just go back to the add-ons and then run the PearDeck add-on, which is right here. So there's a couple different things we can do with it. You can either do it as a teacher-paced lesson, which means you are standing in front of them and you are advancing it as we go, which again is probably best for health, but you could do it a short one if you're just doing a quick warm-up or exit assessment, but more likely it'll be in a different method called student-paced as a station or as a flipped classroom assignment, and I'll show both of them now. I'm going to start off by just clicking Present Lesson, and so that loads it up in PearDeck. And PearDeck has a tendency to start exactly where you are when you turn it on, so it's going to start on PearDeck on slide 6, but that's okay. So here's what happens. You have what's called a teacher dashboard that you could use your iPad to control by opening up Chrome on your dashboard, and right here is the website that you would go to on your iPad to turn on the teacher dashboard. And what this allows you to do is to run the slideshow remotely, so you don't have to stand by your computer or your laptop. So it really is a great feature that they have in PearDeck. I'll probably create a different video later to explain that a little bit more, but it is also in the hyperdoc that I've created. So I'm just going to click on Got It. So I'm going to move this out of the way. This is what the students will see. They're going to go to the website joinPearDeck.com, and then they'll just simply type in a code. I've got a student account set up here. They're going to type in the code that is Troubling Kangaroos Switch Young Flashlights. So I'll type in Troubling Kangaroos Switch Young Flashlights. And I'm using my son's account, so I have to log in with my Google information. And so, as I said, I started the PearDeck on slide 6. So the first slide he sees is slide number 6. So if you start on the first slide, that's what you're going to see. The other thing to check out is this Give Students link. We give a student the link. This is what you can copy and paste into Schoology or Google Classroom, and then they could access the PearDeck without having to type the code. It's also what you would use if you're going to assign it for a flipped classroom assignment, and there's a second part to that which I'll show you shortly. So now that we've got one student in, I'm going to click on Continue. So what you're not seeing in this video is I do have the teacher dashboard on my iPad, so I'm going to go ahead and bring the presentation back to the title slide. I'm going to tap that, and then nearly instantaneously the student sees it on their screen. So I'm going to go to the first slide, and it asks the student whether they feel they are a pro in baseball or not much. So this can be done just by dragging it to wherever they want in between pro level and not much. I'll just put it right in the middle. So on my iPad, I'll click next. We can talk about the rules. I'll tap next. We're going to talk about whether this is a force out or a tag out, and then we just sort of come through all these. So this one is a video where the students can be watching the video. So if this is at home, they would just click on the video and the YouTube would play. So that's what they would work through that. So this is a good time to kind of explain the student pace mode. So I'm going to go back to my screen. And so here's my screen. And just to show you what I can see, I'm going to go back to the one where they drag the dot. So down here, there's an option that I have on both my dashboard and in this screen. I can click on Show Responses. Now, there's only one response to show, so I just see that. But what it does allow me to do is see what the students are saying. It's also showing, this is what will be shown to the class. There are no names attached to it, but on my iPad, on the teacher dashboard, I do see the names of the students. So if everybody says I'm a pro and one person says not much, then you kind of know who you may want to give a little bit of extra support to in the lesson. So I'm going to hide this, and then you just kind of keep going through the slides, but I'm going to show you how to put it into student mode. So if you wanted to put it into student mode, all you need to do is start the presentation just like we have, just to kind of give it a little good visual. So I've started it, and I just click on this 3 dots here, and I do turn on student paste. And what that means, and they give you a new link. You want to copy this link, and then the students can go right to the PearDeck. You put that link in PearDeck or put into a playlist or HyperDoc or Google Classroom, wherever. And now they've got these navigation buttons. So the students can now go through and watch and do everything on their own. No, thank you. I don't want Grammarly. So here's a scenario. The batter hits ground ball to fielder 1. Fielder 1 throws the ball to fielder 2, who is standing on second base before runner A gets to second base. Does the runner need to be tagged? They would look at the situation, and then they would type their answer here. Okay. When the time is up for the student to be completed, I'm going to click Stop Student Pace. And one of the very neat features when I end this is I could call it test softball, let's see, force out, tag out. We can do what's called publish student takeaways. And when I click save and end that session, what it does, it puts a copy of this presentation as a PDF into their Google Drive. And you can also just copy this link and paste it somewhere. And even though every student gets this link, it does take them to their own individual folder in Google, which was pretty cool. So there's only one link to share. And then that's pretty much it. So once the students have done it, they've taken it, the students have a copy of their responses. They can use that to review and study. And then you've got a copy of that if you want to use it to do some, use it for planning purposes to understand what tiers the students need to be grouped into, or if you want to do a grade, that's an option as well. So if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to come over and we can do this together the first time. And once you do it once or twice, it's a really great tool to use, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. All right, have a great day.